All right, we will go ahead and get started. I want to thank you all for coming out for this webinar session on how to search efficiently and effectively on Product Liability Navigator. Now, just like all the other products, once you log online to Lexis, you'll notice that there are dots up here at the top, and this is your product switcher menu. This will house the ancillary Lexis products that the firm subscribes to. And so when you click on these dots, you'll notice that there's an option for Product Liability Navigator. And so once you click on Product Liability Navigator, it will bring you to the home page we're looking at right now. And so you'll notice that in order to search, it is required that you put in a product type. An example would be antibiotics. And then it's optional if you want to put in a product name. It's also optional if you want to put in a manufacturer, as well as it's optional if you want to select a jurisdiction. And so for today's hypothetical, I'm actually going to use the examples provided in the search box. So we're going to put in antibiotics. And just FYI, for the product type, if you like to put in Boolean searches, just like if you were using like and or quotation marks in Lexis, you can do that when you're searching in Product Liability Navigator. But just want to point out that as you're typing in, if you see the suggestion, I do recommend just clicking the suggestion. And then for the product name, we're going to do Levaquin. And for the manufacturer, we're going to do Johnson & Johnson. And then I'm going to leave all jurisdictions selected as is and hit the red magnifying glass to run the search. Now, once you've run your search, you will be brought to your product overview. Your product overview gives you a snapshot of the services that follow. So I can see if I want to pull up all regulations where neither Levaquin nor Johnson & Johnson is mentioned, just the word antibiotics, I can see there's a little over 6,500 regulations that discuss antibiotics. Let's say if I wanted these regulations to include the term Levaquin, then I would just hit the circle next to Levaquin, and I can see there's 8 regulations that mention antibiotics and Levaquin. Over here, I can see that there's 35 recalls and reports that mention antibiotics as well as Johnson & Johnson. Once again, I could deselect Johnson & Johnson, add Levaquin instead, or select them both if I want to see how many hits come up in this service. There's 4 multi-district litigations that include all of our terms. So antibiotics, Levaquin, and Johnson & Johnson. If I scroll further down, I can see that there's 29 verdicts and settlements that once again mention all 3 of our terms. I can see that there's 162 cases that mention all of our terms. There's 38 experts based off of the verdicts and settlements. And then below, these are going to be the top 5 experts based off of how often they've testified. So that's how that's decided. And you can see how often their names appear in the verdicts and settlements here on the side. Now, sticking to the product overview page, if you wanted to add filters, the filtering options are here on the side. So if you wanted to filter by product topics, theories of liabilities, for example, if I selected negligence, that's going to be applied as a filter. And as you can see, that resulted in 14 verdicts and settlements. I'm going to deselect that. Some other filtering options are affirmative defenses and injuries. Now, if I go into regulations, and keep in mind that I had selected Levaquin, and it's also picking up antibiotics, I can see that there's, as mentioned a few seconds ago, there's 8 regulations mentioning those 2 terms. Just as if you're in Lexis, you have filtering options here, so you can sift through this number 8 of regulations. And then when you click on the hyperlink, this will just take you into the regulation text. If I click on recalls and reports, I can see that this is picking up antibiotics and Johnson & Johnson. If I wanted to include Levaquin, I could go back out to product overview, select that term, or I could type it into search within results, filter, and apply it. And once again, you still have the same filtering options that you're used to seeing in Lexis. If I go to multi-district litigation, this one didn't have many, only 4, but once again, you can still sort through with the filters on the side. And this will put you into the actual case. And then if we go to verdicts and settlements, what's nice is that they've put in the filtering options that are in verdict and settlement analyzer. So you can filter down by case resolution, depending on which side you're on. You can include award amount as a filter. You can narrow it down by timeline. You can also narrow down search within results. So if you needed to include like a county, you could just type the name of the county in here. If you wanted to narrow it down by age, you could put in like 52 or 51 or 53, apply it as a filter. So you can, once again, you can use connectors in here, and then anything that you're looking to add, just use search within results if it's a term, or you can use these additional filters. If I go into case law, these will be the same cases that you can pull out of Lexis. And once again, you've got filtering options for that as well. And then for experts, this is going to list all the experts, which was 38. So not just the top 5 once you click on this particular tab. If I click on any of the experts' names, this is going to take us out into context. And so here we can find out challenges that they've received under the analytics tab. We can also check out documents, which will give me everything in Lexis where this person's name is mentioned as an expert. And then based off, so like if we wanted to further check out jury verdicts and settlements on this particular expert, or even expert witness materials, once you click on any of these content types, if you want to filter within that content type, then you would just use these filters below. And so that is essentially Product Liability Navigator. And so now I will open it up to any questions if anyone has any at this time. All right, so it doesn't sound like there are any questions. So I will be sending you guys a follow-up email here shortly. And once again, I want to thank you guys for coming out to this webinar session on Product Liability Navigator. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.